Every year, thousands of people step into America's national parks and simply vanish. Not all of them are found. And the ones who are found raise even more disturbing questions. A former FBI investigator named David Paulides started asking those questions, and what he uncovered shook the foundations of everything we think we know about America's wild places. This is not a story about accidents or simple misfortune. This is a story about a pattern, a terrifying, invisible pattern that no one in authority wants to acknowledge. David Paulides spent over 2 decades working as a law enforcement officer in the San Jose Police Department. He was not a conspiracy theorist. He was a trained investigator, a man who dealt in evidence, not speculation. In 2011, Paulides published his first book, Missing 411, and the world of wilderness disappearances would never look the same again. The research began with a simple visit to a national park ranger station, where Paulides asked for records of missing persons cases. The rangers told him there was no such database. The federal government kept no centralized record of people who vanished in national parks. That answer alone was deeply troubling to a veteran investigator. In any other jurisdiction, any city, any county, there would be a record. Why not here? Paulides spent years filing Freedom of Information Act requests, gathering data state by state, park by park. What emerged was a geographic map unlike anything law enforcement had seen before. Disappearances were not random. They clustered in precise geographic zones near specific topographic features. Bodies of water, boulder fields, swampy lowlands near mountain elevations. Paulides identified what he called cluster zones, geographic hotspots where people vanished at statistically impossible rates. Yosemite National Park in California, Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, Olympic National Park in Washington State. These were not random locations. These were America's most beloved wilderness destinations, visited by millions. Yet inside these beloved parks, people were vanishing in ways that defied all rational explanation. What makes the missing 411 cases extraordinary is not just the frequency, it is the specific, repeating characteristics shared by each case. Characteristic 1, victims vanish near their companions, sometimes within feet, without making a sound. Characteristic 2, search dogs consistently lose the scent trail at a very specific point, as if the person simply ceased to exist. Characteristic 3, when bodies are recovered, they are frequently found in areas that search teams had already thoroughly covered. Characteristic 4, survivors, those who are found alive, frequently have no memory of what happened to them. Young children found miles from where they vanished, showing no signs of distress, no scratches, no hunger, despite days in the wilderness. Characteristic 5, shoes and clothing are often missing or found separately from the person in inexplicably remote locations. In case after case, victims are found without shoes in terrain that would be physically impossible to traverse barefoot. Consider the case of Dennis Martin, a 6-year-old boy who vanished in Great Smoky Mountains National Park on June 14, 1969. Dennis was playing hide-and-seek with family members, visible to his father one moment, gone the next. Within hours, a massive search operation was launched, involving the National Guard, hundreds of volunteers, and Green Beret soldiers. A family nearby reported seeing a large, dark, hairy figure moving through the trees shortly before Dennis vanished. Dennis Martin was never found. Not a single trace, no clothing, no remains, no trail. Then there is the case of Stacy Harris, a 14-year-old girl who vanished during a horseback riding trip in Yosemite in 1981. Stacy stepped away from the group to photograph a lake and vanished in plain sight of other riders 50 feet away. Searchers found only her glasses, precisely placed on a rock near the water's edge. Nothing else was ever recovered. The placement of those glasses was deliberate, not the result of a fall or a struggle. Someone, or something, had placed them there. One of the most alarming aspects of the missing 411 phenomenon is the institutional response, or rather, the complete lack of one. The National Park Service has never compiled a comprehensive missing persons database. When Paulides requested data through official channels, he was charged thousands of dollars in processing fees, an unusual barrier for public records. The FBI maintains jurisdiction over federal lands, yet the Bureau has never publicly investigated the patterns Paulides identified. Park rangers on the ground, those who work the trails daily, acknowledge privately that something unusual is happening. But publicly, officially, there is only silence. So what is happening inside America's national parks? Researchers, investigators, and witnesses have proposed several deeply unsettling theories. Theory 1. Predatory animals. Bears, mountain lions, and wolves are known to inhabit these parks. But predatory animal attacks leave physical evidence: hair, tissue, disturbed earth, audible sounds. The missing 411 cases leave none of these. Theory 2. Human predators. Serial criminal activity targeting vulnerable hikers in remote locations. This theory struggles to explain the simultaneous cluster zones across dozens of geographically separate parks. Theory 3. Unknown geological or atmospheric phenomena, electromagnetic anomalies, subsurface caves, microclimates that disorient travelers. Some geological surveys have identified unusual magnetic field concentrations near several of the cluster zones Paulides mapped. Theory 4, the most controversial, and the one that Paulides himself refuses to definitively name, involves non-human intelligence. Paulides has stated publicly that he does not know what is taking these people. But he is equally clear that something is. Beyond geography, Paulides identified deeply troubling demographic patterns within the cases. A disproportionate number of victims are intellectually gifted individuals, college professors, scientists, engineers, researchers. Another disproportionate group, children between the ages of 2 and 6, vanishing in moments of brief parental inattention. A third demographic pattern involves people with disabilities, particularly those with Down syndrome and other developmental conditions. What could possibly explain a pattern that targets the intellectually gifted, the very young, and the neurologically different, all within the same geographic clusters? By 2023, Paulides had documented over 1,400 individual missing 411 cases across North America. These are not all disappearances, these are disappearances that fit very specific criteria, filtered from a much larger pool of cases. The actual number of anomalous disappearances in America's national parks may be far greater than even Paulides has cataloged. Statistical analysis of the cluster zones reveals probability ratios that defy random distribution models. The chances of this many cases, with this many shared characteristics, occurring by chance, are astronomically low. Paulides has now published over a dozen books in the Missing 411 series, each documenting a different geographic region. He has also produced documentary films, most notably Missing 411, The Search in 2017, bringing these cases to a global audience. The Missing 411 community has grown into a global network of researchers, family members of the vanished, and wilderness safety advocates. Congressional members have been petitioned to open formal investigations, so far, without result. Families of the vanished continue to wait, some for decades, for answers that official institutions seem unwilling to provide. America's national parks welcome over 300 million visitors each year, making them among the most visited natural spaces on Earth. Behind the scenic overlooks and the ranger stations and the family picnics, something ancient and unknown may be at work. David Paulides did not set out to frighten anyone. He set out to find the truth. And the truth, as it stands today, is that we do not know what is taking people from America's most beloved wild places. The next time you stand at the trailhead of a national park and look into the tree line, remember that you are not necessarily alone. If you found this investigation compelling, subscribe now, because the deeper we go into America's hidden mysteries, the more unsettling the truth becomes.